Quest!
The adventure game podcast.
Oh, did it. Quest is the adventure game podcast. I'm Ben. Yes,
I'm
underscore
Jess.
Garrick.
I'm Jess.
Yeah.
I talked over your actual
Oh, it's fine.
handle.
Don't worry
So
about it.
it's PS underscore Garrick. And yeah, I'm Jess.
I'm Ben. Oh.
No, wait, no. You're Benmo?
I'm Benmo.
How's it going, Ben?
I'm fine. I have a jaw ache. I've been having a jaw ache here.
It's all those
grit.
jawbreakers. I keep telling every time I see you with one of those giant, like it's like the size of a softball. And I don't even know how you like get it in there.
Well,
but like, yeah.
It's in the name, but I just like, thumbing my nose at God.
Absolutely.
He keeps saying to me, you keep having those jaw breakers one of those days, I'm gonna break your jaw. And I said, all right.
You and whose army?
Yeah, exactly. Give it a try. Give it a try. But listen, I have an addiction to Jawbreakers and the film Jawbreaker. Did you ever see that? Is it good? I don't know.
Is that the
All right, well, let's look this up.
Okay, everybody pause.
Jawbreaker, 1999 film. All I remember is that it's a movie. That's all I remember.
All I remember is the cover art, like the poster art for it. So yeah, I did not see Jawbreaker, but I do remember what a colorful movie it looked like.
I'm looking at it now. It did have a very colorful poster.
Yes,
and the tagline is "Death Totally Bites."
Mm-hmm.
I'll note that it had a budget of $3.5 million, which it doesn't seem like very much money.
No, what I'm fascinated by, if I can say this,
yeah,
I mean, starring Rebecca Gayheart, Rose McGowan, and Julie Benz, of course, but also starring. Are you seeing this? Also starring?
Yeah, Judy Greer and Carol Kane.
Yeah, I'm seeing. Is this real? Mine says Pam Grier.
Yeah, no, it's got Judy Greer from Arrested Development, and then it also has Pam Grier. It double Greers you.
Oh, it gives you the double Greer. That really grinds my Greers.
Now I'll note that their names, and by the way, that's a very funny joke.
Thank you.
I'll note that Judy Greer and Pam Grier, their names are spelled differently. Greer and Grier. So you get a double Greer, but they're still. And I'll note here, according to Wikipedia, at the bottom of the little summary here, says, while it was a critical and commercial failure at the time of its release, it has come to gain a cult following.
People can just say that, though. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. Did it really have a cult following, or is that just a thing? Like, in A Mighty Wind, Fred Willard's character talking about his failed comedy show. Hey, it lasted one season, but that's all you need to create a cult. Something like that.
I mean, part of me wonders, like, when you say this was a cult classic, is that just like somebody rented it multiple times from Blockbuster with their friends and then wrote this Wikipedia entry?
I'm gonna send this to my Wikipedia guy to add citation needed at the end.
Could you also send that to my Wikipedia guy, who I think is the same Wikipedia guy?
I think we have the same Wikipedia guy.
How much is he charging you a month?
Well, he charges me $75 a month.
I'm paying $400.
Well, he's a close friend,
but I am settling a lot of grudges with him. So and winning a lot of bets.
I'm literally. I just want you to know this is not a drill. I am sending it to my friend Grayson. and saying, uh, we gotta throw a citation needed on that, and he's going to say, Ben, you know you could do that. That's the point of
I mean,
Wikipedia.
no. Well, I mean,
But
now that you've talked about it, it's a conflict of interest. There's no chance that Wikipedia is going to accept your edit at this point. I mean, as soon as they hear this episode, that's going onto the discussion page right away.
uh,
That's yeah.
I, I gotta, we gotta find a citation. I need a. You can't just. This is Wikipedia. Listen. We all were making fun of Wikipedia, but now that Elon Musk is attacking it, I am a absolute fan of Wikipedia and stand by Wikipedia. If this is, I am I'm negatively polarized uh in a massive way to pro Wikipedia, where it used to be let's make fun of those nerds. No longer.
Now we're weaponizing those nerds.
Yeah, but I listen, but I care about the integrity. I care about saying end of the summary here. Last line of it. While it was a critical and commercial failure at the time of its release, it has come to gain a cult following. You can't just say that unchallenged. You
No,
have to provide a citation.
could you maybe petition also for a link making the word cult link to Wikipedia's entry on cults? That way
No,
people can see.
this is now we're doing jokes, and I care. I care. This is I care about integrity.
I mean, Ben,
Mm,
in the world we're living in today, truth matters
that's
more than
right.
ever.
More than ever. This
Yeah,
also has Jeff Conaway.
yeah. Democracy dies in darkness,
That's
which are
right.
words I've always lived by.
Yeah, I say democracy always dies in darkness. I've also said don't be evil.
I've said I was
And
born into the darkness,
yeah,
like Bane did that one time. But
did
yeah,
now I'm looking at Jeff Conaway, he was Kaniki in Greece, and he was also, of
yeah.
course,
Oh, he's
security
fabulous.
officer Zach Allen in Babylon 5 in my
Yeah.
previous life. I'm looking here at his Wikipedia page.
Does it need some citations also?
Well, it lists 3 spouses who and I'll have to take a closer look on under personal. Maybe this uh let's see here. Okay. All right, there are citations. Okay. Okay.
Thank
Everyone
goodness.
calm down.
Yeah, nobody, everybody just, yeah, pay attention to the episode now. You don't need to rush to Wikipedia.
Everyone calm down. We don't have to worry about Jeff Conaway's Wikipedia. We do have a citation for that. His first listed spouse is unknown.
Wow. You
Yeah.
should put somebody in there and then put citation needed beside it. You should game the system. Now,
Yeah.
does it say anywhere in there, is there a citation that confirms that a hickey from Kaneki is like a Hallmark card? Does it say anything about, like, because he says that, but I don't know if he ever really proves it.
Yeah, well, here's the problem with Greece. It doesn't have the alleged integrity of Wikipedia.
That's true.
Uh,
No, no one's ever said that Grease is the Wikipedia of
is the
Broadway
word.
musicals.
Oh,
Yeah, Grease is the word. I mean, yeah, no question. Grease is absolutely the word.
I was also. This is now we're into it. I
We're into
was
it, baby.
looking. Speaking of Babylon 5, my previous podcast, the Last Best Babylon 5 podcast, which still people. I was checking its number. More people listen to that podcast, which has been dead for almost a year. Than
Great art
this
is
one.
like that sometimes. It's only appreciated after after its death.
Uh, but there, I was looking at Wikipedia. I was looking at Babylon 5 stuff, and there's a Wikipedia page for the the Usenet group for Babylon 5, which I don't think that's necessary. We don't need to have unless they found the like created antibiotics. We don't need. And again, I want to say I'm negatively polarized into being an absolute fan of Wikipedia in all its forms.
Mm-hmm.
My polarity has just been swapped.
Yes. Like that one episode of Star Trek, the original series, where you get like an evil Kirk that beams up.
That's right.
Yeah.
And to note, not the mirror.
No, yeah, we're talking about just his evil half.
Yeah, I love that episode because I remember watching that. I have a very distinct memory of
Uh-huh.
sitting in a hospital room with a friend who couldn't speak because they just operated on him, but he could look. He's fine.
Mhm.
My friend's fine. He's doing great. Uh, uh, but he could look. So we just had the TV on, and like I would look at him, and he would look intensely to indicate yes or no. Um, or like TOS, we didn't Captain Pike him, but we
Yeah, I
probably
know.
should have
You probably
done
should have. That would have been super,
like a blank anyway.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, do you want to watch Star Trek? That's on TV right now. And he just kind of looked intently
Yeah.
forward. And so we put it on, and I was like, oh, it's Mirror Mirror. And no.
No.
In
What I
my
love
mind, it will always be
Yeah.
that I was sitting in a hospital room.
Mm.
My friend's fine. Everything worked out.
Yes.
But
He was actually having his evil half
episode or something.
removed, right? Like he was having an evilectomy.
Yeah,
Was why he was in the hospital.
having. Now, Jess, don't you think there's some people who need one of those right now? Sorry to get political.
I like how sweaty Evil Kirk is. Like that
He is so sweaty.
and a little greasy looking. Yeah, I mean that's like the main
That's
thing
how
about.
you know. That's how you know. That's how you know he's sweaty. Wait, that's how you know he's sweaty. That's not how you know he's evil.
That's also how you know he's sweaty is all the sweat all over him, though. That's true. That's like one of that is probably the number one indicator of sweatiness is visible sweat. That's the first warning sign.
A lot of people these days often forget that you need sweat to be sweaty.
That's true.
All right, well, you know what?
Obviously, this is an adventure game podcast, right? I mean,
Well, let's talk about something other than adventure games, probably. When I ask you, Jess, what have you been playing?
Well, Ben, I've been playing an adventure game.
Fuck you.
I'm sorry. I've been playing. Oh my god! I've been playing Life is Strange Double Exposure lately. The Life is Strange sequel that came out last year as we record this. It brings back Max Caulfield from the original game, and it's really lovely. Like so far, like 6 hours in or so, remarkably little has happened. It's just like cruising completely on vibes. Like
is it like Cruising USA? Are you just racing a car around?
Yeah, there is a lot of that. Like, there's a lot of like I just drove through the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm going down the Vegas Strip. Just a few minutes later. No, absolutely, it's got big Cruising USA vibes. But yeah, I mean, we'll eventually have an episode all about Life is Strange. I'm sure, if not multiple episodes. No, Ben's shaking his head. No, he's putting an absolute no way.
I'm enjoying the music. That's what my shaking of the head is. I'm just
okay.
Tapping I'm tapping my feet. I'm hitting my hand on my lap. I'm moving my head back and forth. I'm just having a grand old time.
He's grooving. He's over here grooving. But yeah, I mean, it's a great game. I don't know why I love Life is Strange as much as I do. I know it's a popular series and all, but for whatever reason, I just like spending time in that world. Max is a good kid who I kind of want to see good things happen for. Chloe's gone. Chloe is MIA in this game, so we don't have that classic pairing anymore, but Max has all new supernatural powers. She can now do like the Gwyneth Paltrow sliding doors power.
I thought you were going to say like she sells vaginal candles.
Well, there's a lot of game left. I'll say that. So
there's all sorts of Gwyneth Paltrow potential.
Well, I mean, yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow did write the script for this one. A lot of people don't know that. That's what she's been up to. She gooped all over it. But yeah, it's a good game. I recommend it. I mean, if you enjoyed Life is Strange and Before the Storm and things like that, Double Exposure is more of the same in a good way. I will also say it has an opening like title screen song that has been absolutely stuck in my head.
Oh yeah.
Like in a sort of usual lo-fi, acousticy, Life is Strangey kind of way, and I've listened to it like 7 times a day. I like found myself walking through the halls at work whistling it. I walk around and whistle sometimes. Ben, let me ask you: is that creepy, or is it like cheerful and charming?
It kind of depends. Have you seen the film M, directed by Fritz Lang?
No.
Now there's a couple listeners who are like, yes, Ben is correct. But the rest are like, I don't care. In Fritz Lang's M, which was his first sound film, if I recall correctly, what's his name? The actor who's later in Casablanca, who talks like this.
Yes,
That
Peter
guy.
Lorre?
Peter Lorre. Peter Lorre plays a serial killer of I believe he kills children.
Oh.
And like
Good for him.
the way that he kind of announces like his presence is like you just see a bunch of like scary angles, and then you just hear him off in the distance whistling like very like lightly. And this was a wonderful demonstration of how you could fuck people up with the power of sound. Anyway, I think whistling's great.
So Ben, first of all, what have you been playing? Second of all, what have you been whistling?
I'm usually whistling just the tunes that I make up to harass my cats. Or like I've started to whistle to let them know that dinner is served. And then like I've started to whistle and they've started to pick that up. Like so
Can you give me a sense what that whistle sounds like?
No,
is that
because
not
they're
fair?
behind.
They'll just swarm you. Yeah, you'll be
because
covered
they
in
live
cats.
in this apartment with me.
Yeah.
And I don't
Are
want
they
to
keeping
deal
the
with that.
apartment when you move out, or are they coming with you?
No, we discussed it, and they said they really like it here.
Wow, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's disappointing.
Well, yeah, but they have an arrangement where they love seeing the birds out of my north-facing window. They love those birds and squirrels. Now, what have I been playing?
I was just asking the same question.
I've been playing, have you, I don't think I've ever mentioned that I love playing these. Maybe I have. This is our 21st. I'm not writing any of this down. Have you ever played any of the Survivor games? And I'm not referring to like Survivor, Jeff Probst.
Yes.
I'm referring to like Vampire Survivors.
I have
played any
not.
of those? Okay. So I got into Vampire Survivors like pretty early, like when it was still in early access, and like just kind of on a lark. It's like, what's this weird looking little game? And then I was like, oh, it has become an obsession. And then like Vampire Survivors was such a like hit that now there's a whole bunch of other low budget Vampire Survivors likes. And so I own a bunch of them, and I'll probably work through a bunch of them because we got to record a lot of these. So maybe that's what we're going to. We're doing another record in a couple days, so I might do another Survivors type game. Anyway, so the one I've been playing lately is Deep Rock Galactic Survivor.
I believe I've heard of this. That name's familiar.
So there's Deep Rock Galactic, which is a very fun co-op mining game, which I won't say more about because maybe that's what I'm going to say next that I've been playing. But Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is a single-player survivor-like where a survivor like a Vampire Survivors game is an auto battler. You essentially walk around, your only controller, or like your general control is just using the analog stick. You are not generally, there are some that modify this, controlling anything else or firing. Your guy just fires off like shots on intervals, and then every little monster you kill ups a little bit of experience that you have to pick up. That's part of it. It's not that you get experience for every kill. You have to pick up the experience, and then you get experience, and then you get weapons or modifications to those weapons, so you can like fire faster or whatever.
Yeah.
And so what Deep Rock Galactic Survivor does to mix it up is that, similar to Deep Rock Galactic, the co-op game, is that it has destructible terrain. Like you can mine and you can do stuff, and you can pick up minerals and resources and things like that, which you can use to get other power-ups. And it is in a similar way to where I said like Peglin is a game that I play like maybe if I have like a TV show that I'm paying like 40% attention to.
Yes, absolutely. I know this level of attention pain.
Yeah, like where it's like, oh, I want to have something on because I don't want to feel the cold loneliness of the world. But at the same time, this isn't very compelling television. So
I've grown up with enough screens that I need a minimum of 2 screens at all time to entertain me now.
I need at least 12 screens, and that's what the Switch 2 is going to bring us. Whoops, I shouldn't have said that, but oh well. Don't tell Nintendo that I said their big secret. But that's why I've been playing Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Good Survivor-like. We'll return to Survivor-likes. Also, the thing about those games is that they're all very cheap. Like that's like kind of the hallmark of it. Like Deep Rock Galactic Survivor this is an expensive one. That costs $13, but it has a lot in it. Like
too rich for my blood.
But like let's look here. Vampire Survivors is $5, and that's great. Anyway, so that's what I've been playing. What are we talking about this week, Jess?
Oh gosh, this week we have a real banger. I've heard a lot of kids saying this one slaps, Ben, because we're going to be talking about one of my favorite games, Tales from the Borderlands. And this is going to be a follow-up of sorts to a previous episode. You longtime listeners might remember from just a few episodes ago when Ben spent an entire episode making the case for why I should play Blackwell Legacy and selling me on this game that he loved. I ultimately played this and streamed it and loved it myself. Well, bad news, Ben. You're in my world now, not your world.
Yeah.
And turnabout is fair play. So this episode, I'm going to make my case to Ben as to why he should play Telltale Games 2014 adventure game, Tales from the Borderlands, the adventure game spinoff from the Borderlands franchise.
Can I go ahead with why I haven't played it? So you have a little bit of terrain.
Absolutely.
So like you know the challenge.
Please do. Please do.
So number one is
wrong.
Oh, I'm making faces.
Oh, yeah, but I saw it.
But I made like a face.
Yeah, no, please go ahead.
Number one is that I never got into the generation of post Walking Dead Telltale games.
Okay.
Which were all very like that were you were talking about, and maybe you meant this like to kind of thematically bridge in, like Life is Strange. The only game I've played in that style other than Walking Dead for this podcast, which is still kind of transitory, is the first Life is Strange, which I loved. So one is that I never got into that era of Telltale games. I'm not like that, just wasn't one that really pulled me in. So
Okay.
that's just a little hump because I'm amenable to trying that out. Number
Gotcha.
2, and this is the bigger problem, is that I've never played a Borderlands. I every my exposure to when I see a Borderlands is always negative.
Yes.
Borderlands has a reputation, and I am aware that it does have its many fans, which I believe you are one. Is that
Mhm.
correct? Uh, you are. Is that something that you play with your wife,
It
or
is.
did
Yeah,
I
she and I
misremember? Okay,
played the first couple of games and the pre-sequel, which I
yeah.
guess was an interquel that came out there. Yeah, we played all of those couch co-op on console back in the day. Um, if yeah, my wife was actually she went into labor while we were doing a second playthrough of
I
Borderlands 2.
don't
Like we were
know if I knew that.
yeah, we were literally on the couch together playing Borderlands 2. And yeah, she's like, uh oh,
That
I think the baby's coming. And I'm like, can it wait until we finish this boss battle? Because,
was
first and
it a
foremost,
boss
I'm a
battle?
gamer. Um, I honestly don't remember. I don't remember where we are in the game. Like the next
I'm
6 months
surprised you
are all
don't
just,
remember the details of the Borderlands level that you were playing during the moment leading into the birth of your
well,
child.
I didn't stop playing it.
Oh, good.
She is
Like
like
she
turned
was
off her
like
controller and like it's like I
she got
guess
into
I'll
the car and drove
drive
off
myself to the
herself.
hospital. Yeah. And she's like, I don't know, this feels pretty serious. I'm not sure if I'm good to drive. And I'm like, oh yeah, you probably could have told me that before we got in the middle of this
Yeah,
level. Yeah,
rude.
that's yeah.
But but I brought that up specifically to say you're not the only married couple I know
Yeah.
that has bonded over playing co-op Borderlands. So
Yeah.
I
Because
it
there's
is
aren't enough of those sorts of couch co-op time. I mean, it's like, God, I don't want to play Gears of War.
yeah, I don't know. There's I like it's just very funny that I know now two married couples that are like that played Borderlands together, and like multiple Borderlands, like not
Yeah.
just one, not just like, oh, we played it like to try, oh, let's how would this be, like we've played and completed full Borderlands. But anyway, I'm of like, I have never played them, and
For a reason.
there is a reputation of cringe.
Yes. A reputation that eventually the series becomes a little self-aware of and leans into. But even then, it's kind of the thing we've talked about on here quite a bit. Like pointing out how cringe your game is kind of the same thing as pointing out how bad a puzzle is. It's like, yeah, I appreciate like the meta commentary, but you're still doing that bad thing, right? I mean, this is true. I think there's more to it than that, but certainly the form it exists in, like in popular memory, is one where we think a lot about the cringe parts, and all the non-cringe parts, don't quite break through to the broader gaming audience. I think that yeah, there's no question. There's plenty of cringe going on here, and this was the big thing that like I anticipated, because I kind of broke down my case today as I'm going to lay this out to you
Wow.
into things I think you'll like about the game, and then things I think will be big hurdles for you as well.
there's
And
there's a combination of problems here, because one is I have no buy-in to this world, and then the
yes,
second is like, I think these are two distinct but related issues. One is like, because it could be that this was like a, like, let's say that it was that you were trying to pitch me on the Telltale for Game of Thrones,
hmm
which like just wasn't my thing. Like I just wasn't really into it. Like I didn't really watch the show. But I'm not again, like, it's like, oh, fantasy world, whatever, okay. Like Um,
Take that, George R. Martin.
I read a bunch of the books, so you know what? Like, it's not even that I just didn't get into the show. It just
Yeah,
didn't capture me. Anyway,
not
but
sexy enough.
yeah, like
Not enough nudity.
I needed to have if there were just a couple more brothel scenes with the guy that played the mayor of Baltimore, I would love it. The guy, yeah, he was the mayor of Baltimore in The Wire. You know who I'm talking about. Anyway, uh, or maybe you don't.
Nods
Uh,
politely.
anyway, but like the so I have like just n- very little knowledge. I guess Game of Thrones was totally the wrong example because I have enough knowledge, but like no
Mhm.
knowledge of Borderlands, and also like what I do know about it is like,
A turnoff.
yeah.
Gotcha. No, I get that. And maybe this is a good time. In the off chance that any of our listeners don't know what Borderlands is,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
please
let me give you the quick
take us
rundown of
back.
it. Let's go back to let's go back to 2009 when this scrappy first person shooter RPG, sometimes referred to as a looter shooter, hits the scene. Developed by Gearbox Software. It has a distinct and memorable cell shaded art style. All of that cringe humor that you're
Like
talking about.
Cell Damage.
Yeah, there you go.
My brothers and I played Cell Damage on our GameCube all the time.
Oh man, I wish I
My
had a GameCube.
older brother, Pete, is like maybe one of the only people to have bought Cell Damage HD when it came out. Like I don't know, recently. I doubt anyone else because it wasn't a very good game. But anyway, it
No,
did look
but
cool.
this game is beautiful, if you will.
Oh, but we also talk about GameCube games. Those those games were hard.
Yeah, yeah,
Beautiful
they were brutal.
Joe? Oof.
Yeah,
More like
but
beautiful difficult.
nailed it.
As opposed to Joe, which is easy. All right, go
Yeah,
ahead.
the setting of this whole thing, the first game takes place entirely on the planet of Pandora. Later games expand out from that a little bit, but
So it's like Avatar?
yes, it's exactly like Avatar. It's on the planet Pandora. You plug your tail into like a dragon and just fly around anywhere you want to. And maybe you're also having sex. I'm not sure. Like what?
Anyway, all right. So you're
Yeah,
on the planet of
Planet Pandora.
Pandora.
It's basically Mad Max the planet.
Okay.
One kind of interesting element of this is a lot of the game is focused around this planet having been sort of stripped of every resource by a number of competing galactic corporations that have also flooded it with guns and violence. And now they've all left and kind of left this planet to all the raiders and
So
everyone
yeah,
else who's
very kind of this like so Mad Max, but Mad Max is like about a fallen Earth, like a
yeah.
post-apocalyptic Earth. This is like there's more of a like a sci-fi angle
Yeah,
to it. Like
absolutely.
there's
Because
spaceships and shit.
yeah, the big MacGuffin of this whole thing is that supposedly some ancient alien race created vaults on this planet Pandora, hidden vaults. They're supposed to contain untold wealth, advanced technology, everything else. And this draws heroes known as vault hunters to the planet who are
Oh,
kind of there.
like the movie Borderlands.
Oh, you've seen them? Okay,
Yeah,
so
no,
all
it's a very
yeah, that's your favorite movie.
I love
Yeah.
that movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, these vault hunters come and they kill a bunch of people and blow a bunch of shit up in pursuit of these vaults. And then we have Borderlands, Borderlands 2, Borderlands pre-sequel, Borderlands 3, Tiny Tina's Wonderland is a spin-off from that. And then Tales from the Borderlands is this 2014 Telltale oddity where we see an attempt to take this violent, crass, looter shooter where it's all about just like killing massive numbers of enemies and looting ever increasingly powerful guns from them as you go. And we turn it into a Telltale style point and click adventure game. It's very much in the Walking Dead mold, right down to this character will remember that kind of heading. So Telltale as a Telltale game can be, while leveraging this Borderlands license in the process.
Mm-hmm.
So far, it sounds great, right? I mean, this is now I can already see you're like, I need to give this one a chance.
Mm.
Okay, so what do I like about this? Let me give you my overarching case for what I think you might like about Tales from the
All
Borderlands.
right, let's hear it. And remember, you are under oath. I've been saying that nonstop lately. I don't know where, like, just lately, I've just been saying that to like everyone,
Mm-hmm.
like just in any context. And
Yeah,
remember, you're under oath.
yeah,
Like, I don't know. It's a fun
yeah.
thing to.
I mean, in fairness, you are an attorney
Yeah, yeah.
at law.
No, I'm actually an attorney at SLAW,
Oh,
which is a big. This is a big misconception.
okay.
I work in a cabbage patch.
That's why they call you the Cabbage Patch Kid.
Yeah, Cabbage Patch Kid, comma, attorney at SLAW.
What are some cases you've had to handle recently?
How dare you? How dare you make me come up with this?
Yes, and
I feel like I did a pretty good joke, and now you're making me do even more work. I don't
well, I'm just
know,
saying,
like
you leaned back at the beginning of this
vinegar,
podcast. Yeah.
vinegar versus olive oil.
Oh man, I'm just trying to make you work a little hard because at the beginning of this podcast, you leaned back in your seat and kind of put your hands behind your head and said, "I'm not going to have to work hard on this one."
I did a hilarious bit about Wikipedia for 15 minutes.
Well, I mean, I think the listeners will judge how hilarious it was
Oh
ultimately.
yeah, and history will judge.
Yes. And listeners, if you want to talk about how hilarious that Wikipedia bit delivered by attorney at Slaw, Ben, check us out on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review there. Email us at questquestpodcast@gmail.com.
You almost forgot what it was.
I had this moment. At first, I was like, is it Quest Pod? Is it Quest Podcast? It's podcast,
It's
right?
podcast.
I seldom
I
email it, except
wonder
when I'm just
if
mad
I
at you and want
wonder
to
if
passive
people
aggressively communicate.
I wonder if people have emailed like questquestpod@gmail.com. Maybe.
Probably. I mean, I registered a lot of alternatives that could be possible misspelling. So I've got like guest podcast at .com Gmail at but no. Here's what I think you're gonna like about this game, Ben. It has a surprising amount of heart, which is something I wouldn't necessarily say about the rest of the Borderlands series. And this is where I think the Telltale team really works their magic. By this point in Telltale's history, by 2014, they were figuring out how to not just manipulate your feelings like I accused Walking Dead of doing a few times, but really engage at a more emotional level.
I'm looking at my favorite website, wikipedia.org. And
I've heard you're a supporter.
I'm a supporter. I'm a lover. I
A fighter.
stand. Yeah, I stand. Again, I've been negatively polarized. That's about as good as you can get. All right. So in the Telltale Games timeline,
Mm-hmm.
so you've got The Walking Dead in 2012. Then you have Poker Night 2, great game. Then you have The Wolf Among Us, which I believe you liked Wolf Among Us, right?
I liked it quite a bit. Yeah, I thought. I mean, honestly, I've liked most of Telltale's catalog that I've played.
And then you have Walking Dead season 2, hotly anticipated, I'm sure. And
Mm-hmm.
then this comes after that. This is Tales from the Borderlands comes after Walking Dead season 2.
And then what follows Tales from the Borderlands?
I was surprised by this. It's Game of Thrones is after that.
Oh wow, I would put that later in the
I thought
timeline in
Game
my
of
head.
Thrones was way later too, because I thought my recollection was that people kind of were having some fatigue with that format at that point, which is to say they might have.
Yeah.
But I thought Game of Thrones was a little bit uh uh later. Not only was Game of Thrones next, but it was concurrent.
Yes. To get as much crunch out of that Telltale team as possible, right? I mean, yeah, I mean, this was now you're releasing multiple games simultaneously, episodically.
Like,
It's
yeah,
wild times.
Tales from the Borderlands, the first episode is out November 25th, 2014, and Game of Thrones, the first episode is out December 2nd, 2014. Like
Wow.
they're right
That's
next,
insane.
like they are like
Mhm.
right on top of each other.
And this is
It's
curious because the way I
kind of
remember
nuts.
this too is, there's a pretty positive reception for Tales from the Borderlands at the time. This is a game that a lot of people tend to like. I think that positive critical reception. But then I remember too, Game of Thrones was when I believe I first started seeing the criticisms
Same.
pop up like this formula. This is starting. These things are
This
starting to
shit
feel a little,
again.
yeah, formulaic, and that would really dog a lot of Telltale releases on through to the end, which is a shame because there's good stuff in the later back end of that catalog. Those Batman games are so good.
Do would be I recall because I've seen like a little bit of Tales of the Borderlands like gameplay. Doesn't it kind of make fun of that format a little bit? Like it plays around with it, right? Like it
It
makes fun
does.
of I'll remember, which if you're already starting, let's loop back here. If you're
Yeah.
starting to do the meta jokes at the same time as you're
Mhm.
also releasing straight ones, but they're still in the same format and you're kind of deep in it, like maybe it was like maybe we're like, maybe people were starting to get a little, you know, tired
Yeah,
of
there's
that
one that's
format.
really memorable to me. I don't think this is a spoiler particularly, but at 1 minute, or sorry, one moment in the game, the one of the lead characters, Reese, and his best buddy like share a real moment of bonding and bro out together. And there's this like momentous quick time event where you fist bump your best friend after really broing out together. And instead of popping up at the screen, like this character will remember that. Instead, it's like this character will never forget that.
Oh, that's
It's
cute.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some cute stuff like that. But again, I mean, I think that speaks a little bit to what the center of my case is. This is a game very much built on the relationships between its characters. You have a dual protagonist. You have Reese, who is a corporate guy trying to climb the ladder of one of those aforementioned galactic corporations that have destroyed this planet, essentially. And then Fiona, who is a local con woman. And both of them are chasing after the same MacGuffin. You get a little bit of sometimes the same events told through both of their perspectives. So you
Are
get
they together or are they two separate like parallel
they get split
narratives?
up, so they're running parallel.
Okay.
You're flopping back and forth between them as the episodes go, and
Mhm.
both of them have sort of a sidekick. Reese has his best buddy from work. Fiona has her younger sister, and along the way, yeah, they're both chasing the same MacGuffins and trying to track each other down and trying to find their way to a vault for various reasons. But those relationships that form through the game, including when they start to overlap with some of the characters from other Borderlands games, there's not a ton of that. But there's enough that
And that's
fans.
just a like a treat for the fans. It's
That's a
not
treat for the fans. Yeah,
it's just a nice little like sneaky snack.
yeah,
For
absolutely.
right.
Absolutely. So it's got a lot of that, but there's some real heart between these characters. I mean, they're likable characters. The interplay between them feels pretty real. It's surprisingly touching, like for a series that, again, I would never say that about. Like this game, and this is a low bar, Ben, but this game made me cry a few times when I played it. I mean, that's I cried everything. Yeah, I cried.
Mhm,
I cried right before this podcast started. As I can't do it, Ben. You're like,
mhm.
Jess, you got this,
Yeah.
and yeah,
And I did have the record on, so we will like play that a little bit of
patrons
that.
only. Patrons only can hear me
Oh yeah,
cry.
yeah. All right,
Yeah,
fine. Let's monetize how easy it
fantastic.
is to make you cry.
No, but this I think is the big selling point. And I think it's hard for me to judge because again, I was coming into this with a lot of experience in the Borderlands series, but I think that's the biggest selling point for me is that it has enough heart that I feel like it might be able to drag you kicking and screaming into the Borderlands universe. Do I think it'll make you want to desperately go out and play the shooter games? No, probably not. But I do think as an adventure game fan, there's something to enjoy here.
So there is one thing about all of those Telltale games, and I as I said, I haven't played other than playing a little bit of Walking Dead season 1 for this. Uh Even though I didn't like Walking Dead season 1, that was remarkably compellingly written. And I honestly can't say and I watched you stream the Batman games, which
Yeah.
I agree with you. Those are wildly underrated.
Yeah.
I I've seen people on like in forums and so on, like adventure game groups, just slag on those Batman games. When I watched you like play them, I was completely caught up. But I'm saying all this to say that um the writing quality at Telltale was always good. And I mean,
Yes.
and that's like, if they didn't have good writing, then what, what did they have?
Right.
But there isn't even in games like or even in episodes of Telltale games that didn't necessarily work for me. Like some of the earlier Tales of Monkey Island.
Hmm.
Was Tales a thing that they were trying to make? Was that like kind of a like now
So
that
you
I
have
think
Tales
about
from
it?
Monkey Island, you have Tales from the Borderlands. Did they do other
Did they do
Tales?
any other Tales? Well, hold on. I've got open in front of me. The problem is that like everything was licensed
Yes.
and at a certain point it's just the name of like
Tales from the Batman.
like yeah, it's just the name of the like it's you know, Batman colon like Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale series. So, and you want to know what? It's probably like maybe they were like maybe considering using the Tales thing since they are Telltale,
Hmm.
and but also like for Monkey Eye, like the difference between well, this actually explains it. The difference between Monkey Island and Borderlands, and then Walking Dead, Jurassic Park, Wolf Among Us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, is those two are existing games.
Yes.
So
That's a good
they
point. You need to
and
differentiate them.
yeah, and so they can't say like Telltale wasn't going to say Monkey Island 5.
Right.
Um
You can't say Borderlands the Pandoran Adventure or something like
Right.
that.
They had to make it very distinctive. The like Minecraft is the other one that is based off a game, and that is Minecraft story mode.
Yeah.
Like which that makes sense within the concept of the
Yeah.
thing. But anyway, what is to what is kind of compelling about that argument, or what is not kind of what is compelling about that argument to me is that I would be hard pressed to think of like poor Telltale writing. I think
I was thinking the same thing. Like, I
the
can't think of a game that I would point to. It's like, the writing was the problem on this one. Even like a game like Jurassic Park, which is not a great game. I mean, it has some good writing in it. It's consistently entertaining in the writing.
yeah, no, I've there were some pretty good parts from that stream of yours playing Jurassic Park. The I'm thinking about them now.
Yeah,
And you can watch them. I believe they're all on your YouTube, right?
they are. They
Decaf
are.
Jedi. So on YouTube. But the I think the trick with these games with this era of Telltale and also um with the like Life is Strange and other games made in this style is that it's all a magic trick, right?
Yeah.
Like, and the magic trick fails, like it's if you see the magic trick twice. If you watch a magician do the same magic trick a couple times, you'll be like, oh, the
Mhm.
quarter's in his other hand. He's just waving one hand around.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, like, so the Telltale was very good, like at doing like continuing to lean on this magic trick analogy here is that it's like you essentially know if you're playing those games, essentially it's gonna generally just have one path.
Yeah, certain
Like,
plot points are baked in. Certain set pieces are going to happen whether you choose one option or another. Yeah.
and the the trick of a Telltale game past that, like, maybe people didn't entirely feel that way immediately with Walking Dead, though I'm sure they figured it out quickly when they
Mhm.
replayed it like an episode,
Yeah.
like waiting for the next one. But the the magic in their quality of writing is, if you're a magician, as I said, it's all about doing like the misdirect.
Right.
And because, I'm seeing a magic show, I know that, you know,
This guy isn't wielding eldritch forces
yeah,
and
like, and so I'm there to be entertained.
yeah.
I'm not there to believe that magic is real.
Mhm.
I'm sorry to say.
Oh
I
man.
would I would love it if magic was real.
You're there
And
Penn and Teller style to call bullshit on everything that magician does, right?
I mean, I'm there Penn and Teller style to more do the fool us thing as opposed to just
Okay.
sit there and declare that perfectly functional things are bad libertarian style. But that's
I
a
like to sit in the audience of magic shows and just be like, "This isn't real. That that coin didn't disappear. It
I
can't."
saw it. I got to see in New York in and of itself the magic show. I don't know. Have you ever heard of this? They did a
No.
filmed version of it that went up on Hulu, and I haven't watched the film version of it. I'd be very interested in uh if it would be like, people seem to like the filmed version. uh like I One of the major tricks of it was him doing something with members of the audience that was very impressive. uh
Mm.
but yeah, now I'm getting way off track. In and of itself, it was also directed by Frank Oz. That's right,
Well, there
Fozzie
you
Bear
have it.
himself. uh
You mean Miss Piggy herself?
Yoda himself.
Wow. That's
And
amazing.
many more. Uh,
Well,
the man of a thousand
yeah,
freaks.
but yeah, but that's what they called him. Yeah,
Yeah,
little
Jim
freak.
would give him a call and be like,
Yeah,
"Hey Frank, I need another freak."
got a new
And he'd be
freak
like,
for you.
"I got
Yeah,
another freak. I bet I spent all night in the Jim Henson
yeah,
creature shop
yeah.
making
This
a
one's a
freak."
sexy pig.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah,
got?
yeah, the frog's gonna want to fuck this pig.
She's
I want to make
real
her
sexy.
real sexy. And Frank Oz is like, I know just what to do. And then he did all that.
And it's a legendary
Yeah,
character now.
legendary character.
All because
Anyway,
they needed for
uh,
someone for Kermit the Frog to have sex with. And
yeah, well,
look
and
where
that
we are
was
today.
my complaint with the early Muppets pre Miss
Yeah,
Piggy.
like when he's trying to
Because it
sell
was
like
like,
Wilkins coffee and stuff, but there's no sexual tension.
I
Yeah.
was I was just like, what is this? Is this frog a virgin? I can't respect him. he, he's got to get his frog dick pet. Oh, brother.
Mom, in case you're listening, that was Ben that said that last part. Just in case you better leave this in the edit.
Oh yeah, no, no, no. That please, come on. That's absolutely staying in the edit. Oh,
but no, I mean, Tales from the Borderlands. I mean,
but yeah, they're
it
good
it
at
does
the
that Telltale
writing's
thing.
really good. It hides
It does it.
the magic tricks. The
Expect
end.
that. Yeah, I mean, it gets that. I mean, there's some other great. I mean, there's some things about like the cell shading looks really well. This is really a good marriage of what the Telltale engine was capable of doing, and not that different than some of the visual style that already developed with Walking Dead. But that dovetails really nicely with the visual style Borderlands already had. It feels like those games just from a different angle, kind of the same way, like what it reminded me of. You know, if you played much Warcraft 3 and then ever like jumped into early World of Warcraft, it's just like I'm like a guy walking around in Warcraft 3, only now it's
Mm.
this giant world. It has a little bit of that feeling. It's like, oh, well, you know, I'm still in that world, but I'm interacting with it in a very different way. I'm lightly jogging everywhere rather than sprinting from point to point. So it's got that going for it. I like that. It does the whole smash cut to the title cards when you're introducing new characters, which feels a little tired now, but when Borderlands did it in 2009, felt pretty cool.
You know, I'll like it is a bit of a cliche to have a clever title drop,
Yeah.
but every now and again, I I'm still like I'll watch a movie. Recently watched one with a very good one lately.
Honora?
Hundreds of beavers. Have you seen
Okay.
Jess, have you seen this?
No.
Jess, I think you would love hundreds of beavers. And I'm going to say this as somebody that thought it was a bit oversold to me.
Yeah?
Uh Hundreds of beavers. Have you heard about this movie?
No.
All right,
No.
hold on. All
Can I
right.
afford to Google that or am I going to get in
Abrupt
trouble?
left turn and to if
Okay.
the one recommendation deserves another. Jess, you should watch hundreds of beavers.
I immediately love the
Also,
movie poster.
maybe this might be like a family watch. I think
Oh,
this
wow.
might be something you all, but maybe you watch it and then like determine uh like yeah, I would say give it a watch but before, but I think it is hundreds of beavers is a uh brand new, or it's like it came out last year or 2 years ago, um silent film
Oh.
shot by a couple goofballs in Wisconsin,
Oh.
and it is
Like cheese balls.
yeah, pretty much. Cheese heads is what we call them here in the Midwest. And it is just very, very silly. Like I don't like I honestly I don't know how else to sell it, because it's like a silent film and it's just a lot of physical comedy and silly costumes and people falling down. There's a lot of that.
You know, I
Which
like people falling down.
yeah. And I think you'd really enjoy like in these troubled times.
Yes.
You
When
might
democracy could die in darkness.
you might enjoy a light silly film made by a couple cheeseheads having just a blast running around in the snow uh with with their camera, hundreds of beavers. Check it out. That's my recommendation. Now back to Tales from the Borderlands.
There you go. Well, you've convinced me to check out this movie and to watch Jawbreakers. But I don't know if I've won you over yet on Tales from the
I
Borderlands.
Well, I think I am won over because I am like I'm won over because I, like, as I said, the the writing is uh I like Telltale writing a lot. And did they do after the transition to that style, like the more narrative,
Mm-hmm.
choose your own adventure, so and so will remember that. Did they do any other comedies? Because like before in the point and click, you have like 3
Mm-hmm.
seasons of Sam and Max, you have Strong Bad, you have Wallace and Gromit, you have Monkey Island, uh like, you know, you have all these games that are
Mm-hmm.
uh funny or comedies or you know, light
Mm-hmm.
tone. And then after The Walking Dead, and it's all kind of bigger licenses, though I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't say Borderlands is a
Not,
particularly
yeah.
large license. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but all these other ones, I'm sure Guardians of the Galaxy
It
is, you
has
know,
its Guardians of the
is
Galaxy humor,
amusing.
and this one has it. I mean, this one definitely
Well,
has
it made you
the
cry, so
more. Yeah, well, so did Guardians of the Galaxy,
oh.
and so did Game of Thrones and Puzzle Agent and Poker Night at the Inventory too. No, I mean I
And
just
CSI.
all those Law and Order games, every one of them. Like it makes me really sad when sometimes Law and Order doesn't win.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
you know, yeah,
And
uh,
yeah.
yeah, but no, I mean this one has that Borderlands humor, but yeah, I mean it's not a yuck 'em up comedy in that sense necessarily. I mean, so let me say I've got a couple of secret weapons here at the end.
Okay.
Uh, but I mean, like good soundtrack. Every episode opens with some licensed music that's usually very on point. It's like a
Well, we're
intro.
talking about streaming this, so
Yeah, just do it. It'll just get muted. Don't worry about it. It has one of the closing song of the final episode. Silver Lining by First Aid Kit is maybe one of my favorite songs to ever appear in a video game. It's really good. I like
mhm.
that a lot. Good voice acting. Got Troy Baker and Laura Bailey as the leads. Chris Hardwick's in there as one of the supporting characters.
That's not helping me.
I know that's not.
That's
I
that's
realized
not an
that. Yeah.
enticement.
I know. I realize that, but this is in the interest of full disclosure.
I see.
But let me tell you, I've got two more selling points for you, Ben. This is going to push you over the edge.
Okay.
Patrick Warburton as Reese, the main character's jerk boss.
Oh,
He's a corporate stiff. He's a jerk of a boss, and he is giving the full Warburton. I mean,
he's such a treat in voice acting.
yes.
Brock in Venture Brothers is such
Mm-hmm.
a wonderful and funny
Yeah.
performance.
Which I'm guessing is maybe where Telltale made the connection with him. You know, he was Brock in Poker Night 2.
Oh yeah, he
And
was,
I
wasn't
wonder,
he?
yeah, I wonder if that's where they made this connection. But he is fantastic. He is just a complete asshole in the game, and you want to see bad things happen to him in a really wonderful way. So that's one of my final like take home points. It's got Warburton doing a full Warburton.
I do like
You
him.
want that? Boy, do you remember when like I don't know, maybe you weren't following this closely, but when Space Venture was first like getting kicked around, there's a lot of talk about how great it would be to get Patrick Warburton as the main character there, and
Mhm.
he does look like a Warburton character. He feels like he's designed from the ground up to be a Warburton.
Space Venture does have a pretty good cast, though.
It does. It has a
It does have
star-studded
a
cast.
pretty talented
Yeah,
cast.
yeah.
Was
But no
there
shade.
one other
There's one
all
more
right,
important
let's
point.
hear
I
it.
think Ben, this is something I'm going to really need you to weigh in on. This game has an adorable robot sidekick. This sidekick's named Gortys. It's voiced
Gordon.
by famed voice actor Ashley Johnson, who's got a long list of credits.
I'll have to look her
Uh,
up. Not familiar.
yeah, this is an adorable robot sidekick, and Ben, I think that adorable robot sidekicks are a selling point in almost any video game they appear in because and you know like the sort of robot sidekick that's best known in the Borderlands series is Claptrap, you know.
Of course.
Uh
Even I
and
know who Claptrap is.
yeah, and Claptrap's whole job is to be horribly annoying. And you're supposed to hate Claptrap, and you enjoy when bad things happen to
Mhm.
Claptrap, and you root against Claptrap at some level while he's
Right.
trying to be annoyingly helpful and condescending at the same time.
Uh-huh.
Gortys is none of that.
Okay.
Gortys is a pure soul that I think will win your heart. You're going to like Gortys quite a bit. And I was curious, do you have favorite robot sidekicks from other games? Is there, or maybe media in general? I mean, I was thinking like this is a theme for me. Like PAL 18 from Anachronox, a game I dearly love. Tom Hall's Anachronox has this super adorable little robot sidekick, PAL 18. Even as a kid, the dumb little droid that like Roger Wilco buys in Space
Oh,
Quest
that's
1,
cute. Yeah.
like I loved that robot. I want a robot buddy. And this game gives you a really adorable
Hmm.
robot buddy. Have you
So
played Planetfall? I haven't. Like that's the canonical,
Floyd.
yeah, lovable robot buddy from Adventure Gaming, and neither of us have played that.
Nope. Now I don't know. This is probably something that once we're done with the podcast, I'll probably
Yes.
remember. So those of you who are in our Discord, when you're discussing it, the day this comes out, ask me if I thought of a robot
Mhm.
sidekick in the.
Or do you just hate robots?
No, well, because I mean, so there are robots that immediately come to mind. uh which are, because I was trying to think of one in a game.
Yeah.
The main robot sidekicks that I think of when I think of beloved robot sidekicks are, of course, Crow T Robot and Tom Servo, as a
Okay.
enormous Mystery Science Theater fan. So
Yes.
to me, those are the definitive funny robots.
Gotcha.
Especially Crow. Big I'm
Ah,
a big Crow head.
gotcha.
Um in
Mhm.
all of Crow's forms, because now multiple people have played Crow.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you'll like Gortys. I think again, just another character that gets added over the course of the episodes that really just charm me to death. Now, I did have my notes here. What is Ben not going to like about this?
Let's hear it.
And you already highlighted. I do think the biggest hump you're going to have to get over is less the lack of knowledge or honestly interest in the Borderlands universe and franchise and everything. I think the biggest hurdle could be the humor. I mean,
You
how
know that
funny
I'm
is it?
very picky about my humor.
That's right. How funny is it to you when someone is in the middle of saying something and like their head just explodes because like a sniper shot them from 400 yards away? Like, is that funny? Or is it just like, I wish that guy didn't get his head exploded?
Is it kind of like random? Like, is it
Random,
kind
yeah,
of
like,
like a, that just happened?
I mean, they don't do
Because
that just happened joke too much, but definitely it's like, where did, yeah, just sort of out
what
of
if
nowhere,
what
you
if
know.
I'm a big fan of Borderlands and adventure games and that just happened humor? Where could I go for that?
That's New Tales from the Borderlands, the sequel that was just released a few years ago and then
Mhm.
never mentioned again. It's one of the worst. This was not a Telltale game. This is
Jess,
a
you have to
Gearbox.
be the only person that played all of New Tales from Borderlands. Of this, I am almost positive.
Well, it got okayish reviews,
I
which I
don't
don't
think that's true.
understand.
Is that
Well, I mean,
true?
I think it got like middling reviews. It got like 60s and 70s and stuff like that. It doesn't deserve that. It
It
deserves like 20s and 30s, you know?
was one of I once again invite the listeners to go into the Decaf Jedi YouTube archive
Mhm.
and watch the Tales from the Borderlands 2 or New Tales from the Borderlands streams, because
It nearly broke me. It nearly broke me. I mean,
and you
everything this game gets right, somehow that one gets completely wrong.
and you are a liker. Like
I try to
you
like
came
things.
in with, like, because I'm watching and I don't recall if that's one where you have like the chat displayed, but if you see me in the chat, I'm just on team this sucks. Like I'm
Yeah,
just, and
and you're right.
you're trying to find, like, you're sincerely trying to make it uh uh you're sincerely trying to make it like a positive experience, and I'm just a big old rain cloud.
No,
But
but
I mean, but the game was the rain cloud.
oh
I'm
yeah, no,
just
by the
like
time I got to
saying
the
it's
end,
raining, it's raining.
yeah. You were right. I was wrong. I mean, there's no question about this. And that's, horrible humor there, horrible game, unlikable characters. Everything this game gets right, the sequel could not possibly get more wrong. It
Okay.
really just throws it all out the window. But I guess that's it. Yeah. Do you find exploding heads funny? Do you like if someone steps in poop and is just like, oh man, I just stepped in poop? Is that a funny joke? Can you handle the Anthony Birch of it all? I
I don't
guess
know
is
who that is.
okay. He's the lead writer on Borderlands 2.
Oh, he's the guy that people don't like. Like
He's the
he's
guy that people don't like.
like
I don't
I've
think
seen
he's
people post about this
yeah.
online.
I don't think he's the lead on writer on this, but he is on the team, and his humor that comes into play on Borderlands 2 really becomes sort of the definitive tone for the series. Borderlands 1 was not quite as steeped in humor, and sort of the sense of humor it's known for now is very much like his stamp on it. He's also the host of the Dungeons and Dragons actual play podcast, Dungeons and Daddies. If you'd like to hear more of his work, but
Never
it
got into any
is,
of those.
yeah, no, it's an acquired taste. And again, I think the question will come. I'm curious to see if you agree to stream this. I'm curious to see if what I believe the heart of this game can outweigh the cringe humor that you stated at the top was one of your bigger concerns about this whole enterprise.
Well, interested in it too because I will stream this game. That's happening.
Yeah,
All right, wait, let's not be like that was baked in the cake.
yeah, it was. But
I
I don't think anyone on that team is listening. So if you wanted to be just like, no, Jess, I can't do it.
yeah,
I
no,
think,
I
yeah,
mean, no, we're not going to be. I'm not going to like Dave Gilbert has a enormous nice guy reputation, and also Telltale is I don't think like even the sequel Telltale company. I don't think Telltale exists anymore.
yeah.
I
Or
don't
they could release Wolf Among Us 2 tomorrow, for all we know. That's the
and
great thing about Telltale.
and
Schrodinger's game
Gearbox I
company.
have no qualms about making fun of.
Mhm,
So yeah, no, it's like
mhm.
certainly, and also I mean Blackwell, that series is excellent.
Did I ever tell you I applied for a job at Gearbox?
No.
Yeah. As I applied for an entry level writing gig at Gearbox not all that long ago, like within the past 5 years. I just saw this one day and I was depressed about my job. I was like, I'll just send off like some writing samples and a resume and see if I can get an entry level writer position. And you know what? They confirmed the receipt of my application.
Whoa.
So I got to that stage of the hiring
So
process.
you still have a chance, is what you're saying?
Well, I guess that's it. I haven't heard yet if they filled the position.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm still in the running. So who knows? By the time this airs, I may be the lead writer on Borderlands 4.
Yeah. Oh.
You got dare to dream, Ben.
Yeah. D to D. Yeah. No, I'm gonna play this. I am going to. So right now, for those of you who watch my stream, I'm currently playing a great Telltale game, which is the
Yes.
Sam and Max Season 1, Sam and Max Save the World, which I'm
Fabulous.
enjoying the fuck out of.
Oh my
Um,
God. Such a good game.
uh, uh, I think so. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play something else. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna cleanse my palate so I don't like Telltale to Telltale and kind of even though
Yeah, you
they're
don't want to go
very
tell to tell. Yeah.
yeah tip. I don't want to do that. So I'll stick something in the middle there. I'm not sure what it is yet. And then but after that, after whatever adventure game I play next on my stream, after that, Tales from the Borderlands, it's done. It's
You
done.
heard it here
Dusted.
first. It's going to be Sam and Max Save the World, less manly, and then Ben is going to launch into Tales from the Borderlands. That's his next. That's his upcoming slate.
I am thinking it should probably be whatever it is. I should do like, something like pixely and older next, and
Okay.
then jump forward in time.
Ben,
But I don't
this
know
is
what
your
it is.
chance to be bold enough to stream the Homie D Clown point and click adventure game.
No,
You could
not even,
you
not
could be the
even.
one.
No,
You could
no.
discover if there's anything lurking in that game you'd rather not have
Jess, it's
video
my
footage of
job to
yourself.
bully you into doing that, not the reverse.
I know that's the thing. Like I feel like I'm so easily bullied into playing the worst games on earth. I played Beverly Hillbillies, the adventure game. Can't
Yeah.
you just occasionally take one for the team?
Listen, I've played some unpleasant games. I played
Oh yeah, name 11.
Pac-Man 2.
Well, that counts as like 9 or so by itself. It's bad
Uh,
enough. Yeah.
yeah. I'm trying to remember what is the last game that really like pissed me off. I don't remember. But
That should be a new segment. Games that pissed Ben off.
yeah, games that pissed me off. But anyway, yeah, no, we will definitely play it on Adventure Tuesday. Probably it's it. I'm going to guess probably mid-May, maybe towards the end of May. I would anticipate because I have, as of this record, and this will come out before the next one, like the next Adventure Tuesday, that is. Um, I probably have two more Sams and Maxes, maybe three, probably two,
Mhm.
and then let's say three for the next, and then
Yeah. So
Tails.
coming in Q1 2026.
I It's
It
quarter two,
spells
quarter two.
I was jumping ahead to next year,
Oh,
Q1.
oh.
But no,
Oh, I see.
Ben, I hope that you do enjoy this. I hope that
I do too. I'm
yeah,
not wishing,
yeah,
I'm not wishing ill.
yeah. And Ben, can
Oh
I
my, what else?
give
What
you an
now?
out? I'm going to play fair. You did not ask me to play the entire Blackwell series
I thought
necessarily.
I did, but
Maybe you did.
I think
I'm
I
going to.
did. I'm pretty sure I
Yeah,
did, but
maybe you did.
maybe
I
I
was going to
didn't.
say, if you hate this game, I want to officially, as your co-host, give you permission to bail after the first episode. Like if it is just too awful to continue. If I've judged wrong as someone who
Okay.
loved Borderlands already,
Okay.
and it just can't translate to someone who is coming into it as a complete noob who is already, justifiably predisposed negatively toward the game. I will understand if you have to bail after the first
All
episode.
right.
I won't hold you to it. I will be disappointed, but
Yeah.
I won't hold you to it.
All right. Okay. Well, then
You heard
we'll
here
see.
first. Low
That's
standards.
suspense. That's suspense.
Yeah,
All
that's how
right.
you build an audience.
Yeah. All right. Well, that has been Quest the Adventure Game Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us an email, as said, at questquestpodcast@gmail.com. Send us an email.
Yeah,
Our next one that we're recording is going to be based off of an email. That's a tease.
yeah.
Maybe
That's all.
you, because I didn't respond to that email. Maybe you're listening at home. Someone that sent us an email, and you're like, are they going to talk about my email in the next one? Maybe it's
And no, it's
you.
not you.
Maybe it's
Odds are, with
you.
so many people that have sent emails, it's probably not yours.
Maybe it's you.
But also, good chance it might not be.
Yeah.
Just to be clear here, that's going to be a request quest, though.
Yeah.
We
Next
are
week is a request quest.
yeah, we love our fans so much. If you just write us and tell us any old thing you want an episode about, Ben and I will spend an hour and 15 minutes talking about it no matter what.
Yeah, let's be sure to get that on the record. Now, uh, and please give us a rate and review. So people can
Yeah.
find us. We
Yeah.
love you, but we want more people. We want more people
Yeah.
to send us even more
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
emails. All right.
That's right.
So then, be sure to. I already said what next week is, but let's pretend I didn't say that.
Okay.
Join us
I
next week on Quest when we talk about.
thought you said we are going to be doing a listener letter next week.
Yeah, well, the listener requested this. When we listener requested, we discussed Shittin', the sequel to Pissed.